It's Wednesday. It's 10 o'clock. Gonna get started on this live stream. Welcome in everybody that's looking to get sober. Everybody who is currently sober and just looking to have a better life. That's what the goal is. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're striving for. And I'm glad that you're here. So welcome in. So I guess I'll just get started with last time I talked about what it was like to drink and become addicted, and how I started drinking and how it started as a good time. Like most of us, it starts as fun. It starts as just, innocent. It's innocent. It's not anything that we worry about at the beginning, but as time goes on, we experience more of life and we start to lean on alcohol more. It just becomes more and more complicated. And so that's when we start to look and internalize and kind of look and see where we're at with our drinking. And we can kind of see if we're able to control it, if we're not able to control it. And if we're not able to control how much we're drinking, when we're drinking, that's when we really know that it's a problem. And that's kind of where I want to lead in with this topic today. Last time, like I said, I talked about getting addicted, but now I want to talk about what I do now that I'm 5 years sober, and how I'm able to not think about drinking anymore, how that's impacted my life for the better, how it can impact your life for the better, and those kinds of things. So like I said last week, I may have said it on the live stream. I may have only said it on the video that I made, which I uploaded. That's coming on today at noon. 5 years. I celebrated 5 years. I got this coin from my wife celebrating 5 years, April 27th, 2025. And I talked about how that impacted my vulnerability. I felt kind of vulnerable that day. That wasn't anything that's new. The first and second soberversaries were difficult for me. I mean, I wasn't in a place yet where I was able to not think about drinking. I still thought about it all the time. And if I wasn't thinking about alcohol, I was thinking of ways I could escape, like weed or mushrooms or other things that help us escape reality. And that's what I struggled with most. It wasn't so much that I struggled with keeping away from drinking. It was that I still was seeking an escape. I was still looking for a way out. And as much as I worked on trying to figure out why that was, I wasn't able to figure it out. It just, for some reason, I wasn't able to get over that hurdle in that first and second year. And that was disappointing. It was frustrating. I ruminated on it a lot, especially when I would start to think about what I could use. When I quit drinking, it was 2020. It was during the pandemic, and weed was just legalized in Michigan like a year prior to that for recreational use. And being that I was not a user of marijuana pretty much since my teenage years, I had problems with it. Honestly, it just caused me like heart palpitations. It caused me anxiety, caused me to kind of lose my mind. I just didn't. Whenever I did it, and I was with someone who was a regular using it, uh, I couldn't even carry on a conversation because I couldn't even think about where I even was. I mean, I was just became frozen, and that on top of the heart palpitations, I really just kind of wanted that experience to be over. And so to want to lean on that, um, to kind of get over my thoughts of drinking didn't make a lot of sense to me. Um, I mean, I enjoyed the high, but it didn't last. I mean, it didn't last long. The side effects that I got from marijuana outweighed the benefits of marijuana. Um, so every time I thought about it, I would talk myself out of it and just decide, that, and my wife is not an advocate for marijuana use, so that played a role in my thinking too. I don't want to do something that's gonna jeopardize my marriage. I don't want to do anything. I mean, the drinking. Not that my wife accepted the amount that I was drinking, because we talked about it. She didn't accept it. Um, but she didn't necessarily have a problem with it or think that I even had a problem with alcohol. But I knew that I did, and I knew the truth, and I knew how much I was drinking, and what I was experiencing with my addiction. I always called it a habit, but in my heart, I knew that I was hooked on alcohol, and the longer that went on, the more I just kind of realized that I don't want to do any of this stuff. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do weed. I don't. And the mushroom thing, I actually batted that idea around with my therapist a couple times over the years, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. Psilocybin, and um, the psilocybin you could microdose, and I had a few people on my sober group that talked about microdosing, and a lot of people on there actually still used marijuana. Honestly, they didn't have a problem with weed. They used it and they quit drinking, and that wasn't an issue for them. But I didn't really want to turn. I didn't want to turn to anything chemical wise, because if I'm adding on another possible addiction, then that's a problem too. So I really just wanted to spend time introspecting and looking within and figuring out what it really was that I was trying to escape. Uh, Eventually, I got to my third soberversary, and I didn't have as much. I didn't feel as vulnerable or as weak than the first and second year. Maybe I had experience. Maybe going through all these events of life, uh, that a calendar year brings, holidays, um, different experiences, weddings, things like that, where alcohol is present. Maybe going through those things helped me realize that life is better without alcohol, and accepting that life is better without alcohol, and accepting that I can be my authentic self at these places and just be me, made it better. So every time that I would think about drinking or using other things to escape, I would kind of go back to that. I just feel better without anything, without any of it, and that's really when things turned. My third year of being sober, I didn't feel so vulnerable. I didn't feel like I needed to escape. The turning point, honestly, was that I took a hike around that 3-year mark, and I was planning, and I had been thinking about taking a vacation for a long time leading up to that. And I never did. I never took a trip away from the house. We have two dogs. Um, we have a daughter. We have things going on at home, and um, yes, they could go with us, but to plan on that, to plan a trip like that, it just seemed like more work than it was worth, especially being that I was still uh, struggling a little bit with not drinking. And so I didn't want to do that. But during that third year, I really was wanting to do something. So I was thinking about like a weekend getaway, something within driving distance, something 5 to 6 or 7 hours away at most. And I decided up north Michigan, somewhere in like the UP, and it was going to be hiking. It was going to be mostly like swimming and hiking and nature stuff. And my daughter really likes that stuff, so I plan on my daughter and me. And if my wife wanted to go along too, that would be fine. And that would be. And I talked to her about that, but she said, it's going to be too much hiking. So I I just decided that I'm going to do this. But how am I going to feel when I take this trip and then I come back? Are all my problems going to be solved? How you doing? What a world! Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Being sober is wonderful. It's different than a life of being a drinker, and that's really what I was looking for. I was looking for something different. Being stuck in addiction was never fun. Uh, it as much as and I enjoyed getting drunk and having a buzz. There's nothing better than just living authentically and being confident. That's alcohol takes away. I mean, especially addiction. Not so much alcohol. I mean, some people can have one or two. I was never a one or two drinker. I was a 10 or more. um, and being addicted, it just takes away your confidence. It takes away your self-esteem. It takes away your ability to control your life, uh, and things like that. So that was really the best. That's been the best part of it. Is just being being able to be yourself, being able to enjoy life like being a kid again. The things that we experience uh, in those years as a kid, and the hope, and there's hope, and there's joy in those things, and alcohol took that from me. And I don't have any ill will towards it. It is what it is. I don't hate alcohol. I don't hate people that drink alcohol. They're free to do what they do, um, and that's fine. And so that's it. But so back to my planning on my trip around my third year being sober. When I played it forward, and I thought, when I get back from this trip, is am I going to be feeling better? Am I going to feel like my life is complete? And the answer was a profound no. Like, I'd go right back to, having to take care of the dogs, having to go to work, having to take care of the house, having to take care of all the things, being a dad, being a husband, all the things that come along with that. And it wouldn't solve anything. Yeah, I would have memories. I would have good, fond memories of that trip, but it's not going to make my life better. In fact, it's going to make me want to do that trip again and again and again just to get away, you know? And we can't just constantly be leaving. And coming to terms with that really was a huge benefit, and it opened up my eyes to the fact that if I can just be content with what I have in any given moment, in any given day, then I can have the life that I have been looking for, and I don't need to escape. I just don't need to escape it. So yeah, it does take a lot of strength. It definitely does. That was definitely one of the things that I knew that I was going to need in order to get sober, is to find the strength to be vulnerable, find the strength to open up, find the strength to use the tools and the people that God put in my life, um, and trust them, and just trust in general, because I was always skeptical, even as a kid, of people. And as I got older, that didn't get any better. In fact, it got worse. And so I isolated because of that. I just felt like, I don't want to even be around people. I don't trust anybody. So I might as well just be by myself. And getting over that was honestly more difficult than getting over the urges to drink. I mean, don't get me wrong, the urges to drink were difficult, especially in the first 3 months. Uh, I'd say, and I talk about it on a lot of my videos, but around day 72 or day 73 of being alcohol free, one of my friends on my sober community said, because I was struggling real bad with guilt, I was struggling with urges to drink, and I got on there and I just said what I was feeling. I talked to my wife for a little bit about it. It had to do with one of our daughters, and then I got back to the group, and one of my friends had posted, just get through this urge. If you make it through this urge, you're going to be stronger for the next one. And ultimately, she was right. It was about an hour between all of that. And by the time that hour was up and I read that, I was like, man, I do feel stronger. And that was like the strongest urge that I had in my 3 months of being alcohol free. And I didn't have a huge strong one like that ever again after that. That was it. That was like the hurdle. And so no, I did not do it alone. I found a book called This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. And it's basically, the title was This Naked Mind, How to Control Alcohol, or How to Control Your Drinking, or something along those lines. And that's really what I Googled, and that was kind of one of the first things that popped up in the first day that I decided I wanted to give sobriety a try, like a real try. And that's really, at the end of that, I read that book in 2 days. I got to the end. There was a community at the end, just called thisnakedmind.com website. I got on there, and the group, it was a free group. So really the only thing I spent money on was the book, which was like, $11.99. I read it on ebook. And then the group was a free group. It was on that website. I started reading people's comments, and I really was on there because I wanted to be a regular drinker, like have one or two and be done. But the more I was reading the testimony of the people on that group, I started to realize they've been sober for a while, like some of them months, some of them years even. And I was like, man, this isn't really control your drinking. This is don't drink, not drinking at all. And I'm like, man, is that really what I want to do? So I kept writing, and then the next day I think I posted something, my first post. They welcomed me with open arms, and that was it. And I was on there every day, posting, reading, commenting, going back and forth on people that would post on mine. And that really kept me sane and sober. And within that first couple days, I made a therapy appointment. Um, I was already on medication for like depression and anxiety, Zoloft, and I had been on that for a couple years. Um, let me see if I can move this. It's kind of get a little bit closer. So yeah, therapy. I had that to look forward to. It wasn't for another week, and I honestly wanted to get in that week, but they didn't have any availability. So I waited that week, but in the meantime, I had my wife. I had this Naked Mind group, and yeah, uh, it, yeah, alcohol causes a lot of problems for families, no doubt about it. It's not good. There's nothing. It's not a good look, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to get out of addiction, out of my drinking, was because I wanted my daughter to have a better dad. Um, my sole reason for quitting was for myself, but everyone around me benefited from it and still do to this day. And so yeah, it's not good to have. I mean, my biological father was a heavy drinker. I didn't really know of him. He was never in my life, but I had a conversation with him when I was a couple years before I quit drinking. So it was like 2017, 2018. I had a conversation with him. I wanted to know about his drinking history, and I already had known about my mother's, living with her my whole life. Uh, and so I really just wanted to know. So yeah, I ended up. I mean, I had two parents that drank a lot, and my dad, who I considered my dad, he was never a drinker, really. But he had anger issues. He had other issues that really made me feel bad about myself, and so that was one of the reasons why I ended up turning to alcohol in the first place, was to quiet those voices, quiet the voices of him and his criticisms of me and my mom, and so yeah, and there's no doubt that my mom turned to alcohol too, around that time. I mean, I never knew her to be much of a drinker, but when they started having problems when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, that's really what happened. They started talking about divorce, and then my mom started drinking, and yeah, both sides of your family. Well, that's good that you don't use anything. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, just not participating in it is better. I mean, I still go to these functions and people are drinking, and I'm like, man, you can have it. In fact, I just went to a launch for my sister-in-law's mobile bar, and I kind of went back and forth, like, do I really want to go to this? Like, I want to celebrate her and her new venture with her husband and their couple friends, but at the same time, I don't really. Sometimes I feel like I'm condoning uh, alcohol use when I do that. Yeah, it's traumatic, no doubt about it. And sometimes I wonder, I don't wonder it now as much as I did early on, but like the PTSD and the trauma of all of my drinking, and all of the things that led up to my drinking, that I honestly didn't heal from. Uh, all those years. I was in and out of therapy from like my 20s all the way to my like 40s, and I was never able to get to the bottom of what was really going on. And it's no doubt because I was drinking, and that was really the drinking. Getting rid of that was really the key to my personal journey of healing. So that's what held me back. But I know that a lot of we all have vices. We all have things that we turn to use. And when I started this channel, I didn't necessarily want to just make it about alcohol. That was my own personal experience. But I know that, I mean, people have other things, like I said, that they turn to, and if we're using those things as a crutch, we're not able to heal from. That was great to see you here. Thanks so much. Hopefully, I'm gonna be doing this every Wednesday at 10, so hopefully you can tune in next time. It was really awesome to talk with you. So yeah, yep. I plan on going 30 minutes on this, so maybe I'll go a minute or two more, see if anybody else wants to join in. But yeah, I like to hike. I like to go out. As you can see today, it's pretty shady where I'm sitting. It's really sunny out today. So I'm going to go out for a hike. I got to work in a little bit. But doing the things that bring me like joy and peace are what makes sobriety awesome. And finding, and I'm still finding things that I like to do. I like to travel. I like to go to places and experience new cities, new museums, new towns. And those are the kinds of things that uh, give me, like, sustain my sobriety. So I don't feel like I ever really need to turn to alcohol anymore ever again, because I I do other things. I don't have a hangover in the morning. I got energy to do things. I accomplish what I need to accomplish. Then I have time and time and time. You get so much time back in sobriety. That's one of the biggest benefits of sobriety, is that it feels like you have so much more time, because alcohol isn't consuming your brain space anymore. You're not thinking about it morning, noon, and night. You know, when am I going to drink? How much am I going to drink? And then doing it, and then waking up hungover and thinking, "Man, I wish I didn't do that," or "I wish I didn't drink that much," or whatever. Or you get through the hangover and then you start thinking, "I can't wait till I drink again." And so the mental gymnastics of alcohol and addiction are done, are over, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. And that's really the biggest blessing, is that I just don't need to think about it anymore. And rarely do I think about drinking. I've actually been drinking a little bit more non-alcoholic stuff. I've tried some NA beers recently. I've tried an NA margarita, like a mocktail from Aldi, and there's just some good stuff out there. And now that it's summer, having some of those cold drinks just tastes good, and kind of take that craving away. So it's good. It was good to talk with everybody today. I'm glad that you were here. What a world. And yeah, if anybody else has anything else to comment on this live chat, it gets posted under the live tab on my channel, so you can go back and rewatch that. So yeah, like and subscribe if you found value in this. I've got a sobriety group called Sobriety in the Storm. It's on Facebook. It's a private group. I offer free assistance, free help, free support, and whatever you might need to talk about in your day, in your sobriety, if you're struggling. So yeah, come on over to that. The link is pinned in all of my videos. And so yeah, so have a great day, everybody. A great sober day, and we'll talk to you soon.